Hi, Dr. Alex here, and welcome to a rather impromptu, sudden video I wasn't expecting to make about me buying another stupid little piece of computer hardware that I really shouldn't do because I didn't really need it. But anyway, it's done now, and it is not a ThinkPad. The unthinkable, the unthinkpadable. I have bought something that isn't a ThinkPad. It's an actual desktop. Obviously, I'm using desktop with air quotes around it there because this is not really exactly what most people think of as a desktop, but it's definitely not a laptop, let's put it that way. So as you can probably see, this is a Lenovo ThinkCentre M73Z all-in-one, called an all-in-one because you've got the monitor, computer, all the peripherals, everything. Well, not all the peripherals, the keyboard and the mouse are external, but everything's jammed into the monitor basically. Rather like the old IMAX sort of things, I guess. I may have been watching a bit too much of Action Retro. It's given me stupid ideas like buying more e-waste, which I basically have done. This is nothing more than a piece of e-waste. I was partly inspired by this because I was hauling a friend of mine's massive gaming desktop around, which is a huge hulking piece of hardware the size of, well, a significant proportion of the wooden chest that this thing is currently sitting on would be the size of this gaming PC. And I was thinking, God, this is huge. And had a lot of empty space in it as well. But anyway, that's not the point. I thought, well, maybe a desktop might be a fun thing to have. Maybe I could do stuff with it. And also, this thing has a bigger screen than any of the laptops I currently have. And indeed, any of the older laptops you can actually get, which have the nicer old keyboards. So I thought, okay, this might be good for watching videos. Turns out this has got the same resolution HD Plus as all my laptops, barring the two most shunned laptops that have been given the crappy resolution screens. But anyone who saw the last video know exactly what I'm talking about there. This one's only got a 1600 by 900 resolution HD Plus screen. You could get ones with more impressive screens apparently, but this has got one of those, and I'm not going to complain about it. This cost 35 princely pounds from eBay, and that included the postage and packing. So £35 all in for a complete computer. You can see from the sticker on the front that this is not a high-end or high-spec'd out machine. It's got a Core i3 4130, so it's a generation beyond even the most advanced of my laptops, which have generation 3 Intel processors. And it's calling itself a quad core, but it's only got 4 active threads. So I'm saying this is probably a dual core with 4 threads at 3.4 gigahertz. So it's a little bit faster than the cores are a little bit faster than even my super fast i7 quad cores. Although they have 8 threads going for them, so they should be faster. And I'll do some speed tests against this and my T430 in a bit. Anyway, this I only got it out of the box today. I haven't even cleaned it, so if you can see marks on the bits of the bezel, that's because I haven't even bothered to clean the thing. It only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, but much like all the laptops I've got, it's DDR3 RAM, so I'll quickly pick up a couple of 8 gigabyte sticks to throw in it, and then I'll have 16 gigs. It came with an SSD, which is nice. It's a titchy SSD. It's only 240 gigabytes, as you can see, which came with Windows 10 installed. But if you're looking at the screen right now, you can tell I don't have Windows 10 running right now. So I have done one thing to it since I got it, which is I slapped Linux Mint 18 on it, as I normally do. But as you know, I'm not entirely happy with Mint 18. I'm only using it because I'm setting up this 240 gigabyte SSD as the sort of disposable booting SSD, from which I'll then hopefully launch into other drives with other OSs installed on, because I'm pretty sure this has got, I know this has got an internal PCIe slot, and I'm hoping to get a PCIe to NVMe adapter and stick a sizable NVMe drive in this thing, which I'll then use as the main booting drive. Well, the main drive it boots the OS from once it's got past the boot being on the SSD. You know what I mean. Like I've done with the T420 and the T530 to a degree. That same trick I'm going to play here. as I say, it came installed with Windows 10 to begin with, which I don't care about or like. Although it's nice to see it was there. It was all cleaned off, and it was like the bare bones original Lenovo Windows 10 version install with nothing on it. So they've been very diligent. The seller, Kel-Tel, I think I'll flash it up on the screen so you can see it. And as I've already said many times, 35 quid for a complete computer as it is. That's a bargain. I'm not going to quibble about this. Thank you, Kel-Tel, for selling it at such a cheap price, including the postage and packing. This is a bargain. Didn't come with a keyboard and didn't come with a mouse. Didn't really expect it to. They said it didn't. Doesn't come with a stand, but as you can see, it's standing up perfectly happily, leaning on the wall on the little desky thing I've got it on. So that's all working. Continuing the e-waste theme, I fished an old keyboard. It's an HP keyboard. There it is. Someone had chucked away a whole bunch of them because obviously either they'd upgraded their keyboards to more modern keyboards or they'd upgraded all their PC hardware, which is probably how this thing came on the market in the first place, with a load more desktop machines for their workplace, which came with a whole bunch more nice island keyboards, as seems to be the fashion these days. So why on earth would you keep these nice full-action keyboards when you could have these horrible island keyboards? Anyway, so they chucked out a whole bunch of these. So I filched one of those. There's a USB mouse with wired. These are both wired, but then it doesn't have to be wireless. I have wires that reach on both of these things, so why not use them? So yeah, I've got an e-waste keyboard, an e-waste mouse, and a machine which is basically e-waste that someone's reselling, recycling on eBay. So yeah, this is totally Action Retro, I have to say. But anyway, I am not Action Retro. There's nothing Macintosh about this whatsoever. Anyway, it's all been set up. You can see I've already installed Mint, as I say. This is with a view to getting another OS installed on an NVMe drive. And even if I can't get the NVMe drive to work, there's extra SATA slots inside, so I can give it a second drive, which is M-SATA, or even SATA, either. There's apparently enough room. It has got a DVD drive built in. Amazing how much stuff you can shove behind the screen on this thing. And that's about it, really. So I shouldn't have bought it. I didn't need to buy it, but I bought it, and it all runs very well. Oh, by the way, I'm recording the audio for this video on it right now. So it's not only here, it's working already. Obviously, it's not got much storage space to store stuff because it's not got that titchy 240GB SSD, but when I've upgraded it, it will be more useful. And even now, I can watch YouTube videos on this or other things on a DVD drive with a screen of a reasonable size. I mean, my laptops are great, but 15-inch being the maximum one I have for watching videos is great, but this is even better. Anyway, let's have a look at the system profile so I can tell you a bit more about what's going on here, and then we can do some speed tests against my T430S. So here we are in Hard Info, as the app is called. That says System Information at the top, and it always does in the menu as well when it's loading up. But its proper name is Hard Info, and so the summary for this machine. There you go. The processor 4 times Intel Core TM i3, so this is like really low end. I say that it's almost as fast as my laptops. 4130 CPU at 3.4 gigahertz, which is great. It's only got 8 gigabytes, as I say. And the screen resolution is 1600 by 900. You can apparently get bigger screens or higher resolution screens, I should say, for this, but it didn't come with it. But for 35 quid, I'm not going to complain. So anyway, let's just run the speed trials on this one. Whee! So, CPU Blowfish. It's done it straight away. So, CPU Blowfish on this machine, as you can see, eek. That wasn't very good. Is 3.54 seconds. I always get this wrong. Lower is better. Let's quickly run the T430 doing the same thing so I can tell you what it's doing. And I should have had this set up ahead of time. Right. You can't see this, but I can. I've got Hard Info up and running on the T430 now as well. And hopefully you can still hear me. CPU Blowfish, poink. Actually, before I run that, what I should say, using the summary we looked at before. Yeah, so this one says 8 times Intel Core TM i7 3740QM. So it's a generation behind in terms of the CPU numbering, but it is an i7, not an i3, and it is it's a quad core, but 8 threads. So I reckon that's a dual core on this thing with 4 threads. Anyway, let's go on back to the speed tests. Whee! CPU Blowfish. And this one, it is faster, has done it at 1.72 seconds, so significantly faster my laptop is at the moment. But one of the things I intend to do on this desktop, on this ThinkCentre M73Z all-in-one, is upgrade the CPU, because I've looked online. There are many videos online telling you how to do this. It's not that much different from upgrading a CPU on the laptops I've done already, so might have a bit more access space actually. So I'm going to upgrade the CPU on this thing as well, in case that wasn't obvious. But as it's currently standing, it is not as fast as my laptops yet. Let's do crypto hash. Let's see how that goes. So I'll start them both on both machines. So here we go. So higher is better. Okay. So on this one, on the M73Z, it is 475 megabits per second, but my T430 is doing 768 megabits per second, so clearly it is faster than the desktop at the moment. Fibonacci. Lower is better. Ooh, this is the first one where the M73Z has actually beaten the laptop. The M73Z has got 1.35 seconds. Lower is better. But my T430S has only got 1.48 seconds. So the desktop, for the first time, beats it in something. Okay, let's try CPU N Queens. Boing. Okay. And finally. So, wow. Okay, the laptop wins on this one. So, result in seconds, lower is better. This has done 4.6 seconds on the M73Z. The T430S did it in 0.53 seconds. So it's so lower is better. Yeah, the T430S is considerably better than the M73Z on that test. Right, let's do CPU FFD. Boink. Okay, that is very close, but the M73Z edges out on that one. It wins by a narrow margin because it's got 0.83 seconds, lower is better, and the T430S got 0.89 seconds, so it's a teeny difference, but the desktop wins on that one. And let's try the last trial we've got left, which is the FPU ray tracing. I should mention that you can upgrade the graphics, the GPU, I believe, on the M73Z. And also it may already have a better GPU than the T430S with its built-in the CPU GPU. So that might be why it's winning out on some of these later ray tracing tests, for example. So let's try this one, see if it's faster on this. Poink. Not quite. The M73Z is returning 3.01 seconds, whereas my T430S returned 2.98 seconds. So it was the laptop, the T430S, was slightly better than this desktop, but only by a tiny margin. But anyway, so here you go. That's basically, I think, all I've got to say about my brand new purchase. I totally didn't need it. I will totally be wasting time playing on it and messing with it and upgrading it at some point in the near future. But I think I should probably do the G3 Edge 15, which I did say that would be the next thing I make a video on when it comes to hardware. So that will be the next one that gets my loving attention. But I don't think there's anything left to say about this. It's only just arrived. I've barely done anything with it. I've watched a couple of videos on it. Very nice. But that's all I have to say on this for the time being, because nothing has been done with it so far. So until the next video, to all my watchers, subscribers and viewers, please join me for the next one. And until then, take care.
Masters, mistresses, the Doctor requires materials in order to maintain the TARDIS and ensure continued functionality. He similarly requires carbon-based comestibles to sustain his own biological functions and existence. Master would never say this, but he requires aid beyond that supplied by this unit in order to acquire these. To aid the Doctor in his various tasks and creations, this can be most effectively achieved via Patreon or Substack subscriptions, or through donations directly to PayPal. Or if you desire physical goods in return for your contributions, written accounts of my travels with the Doctor are also available on Amazon. Links are in the description below. Thank you, masters, mistresses.